Hey everyone, welcome to the drum tutorial that's in-depth on No Longer Slaves, the song from Jonathan and Melissa Helser. We're running this one at 74 BPM with a quarter note click, or 148 if you can't flip your 74 BPM to an eighth note click, right? So again, you always want to have the click going with your right hand, your eighth notes. And the reason for that, we cover this a lot in the tutorial, so if you're visiting every one of them, I'm sorry for the explanation, but just so that you know, you always want to have your click be where your right hand's at. That's going to be a lot easier. Now, a lot of people know this, but I almost got kicked off the very first session I ever did as a studio drummer because I could not play to a click. And the reason why is it was a quarter note click. The producer flipped it to an eighth note, and I was locked in from then on, so it was awesome. You want to do the same thing, plus it keeps the worship team around you solid. This song is super simple. There's only a handful of parts, and they're all well within the wheelhouse of other worship songs that we play often. So just walking you through it, you'll cymbal swell in and then ride cymbal. We're just doing a quarter note ride cymbal during the first musical interlude. But I will say, one of the things that I always want to remind drummers of is not top sticking your cymbal when you're doing a swell. You're going to want to side stick it. The reason for that is this sounds terrible. Little scripture joke, it's like a clanging cymbal or a brash gong, right? Like it's a drummer without love that top sticks a cymbal. All right, so from there you're gonna go more into like a tom-driven groove, kick drums on the downbeat. This is at the top of verse 2, and this is how that goes. It's all about the accents. It's not solid. That's just going to be terrible. It's not going to serve the song very well, so you're going to want to just give those subtle accents. Kick. Right? That's just going to serve the temperature of the verse really well. And then when we go to the chorus, you're just going to want to give a cymbal to kind of introduce the chorus, and then maybe add a rack tom. But the most important thing to give the chorus momentum is changing your kick from the downbeat of the bar to a 4 on the floor kick. This is how that goes. You can feel the momentum shift, right? Here's the verse. Here's the chorus. Subtleties like that are awesome. A lot of people don't know why the song starts feeling different, but we know as drummers that we've decided to push the low end more and give it more momentum with that kick drum. From there, the chorus just kind of parks at that temperature until we're ready to go back to the musical interlude that brings in the bridge. And the bridge is really the moment of the song where the whole thing hits an apex. And we're going to serve that moment with your classic cascade build. We're going to keep 4 on the floor on the kick drum. We're going to be eighth notes on the floor tom and the snare until we give a cymbal pop with the snare to kind of like hit some high-end excitement and wake everybody up. And then you're going eighth notes on the kick and 16th notes on the floor and the snare. Check it out. This is chorus. Here's the build. That's it. From there, we're going to hit the chorus groove, and I just want to talk to you about it. Again, a very simple groove. Kind of, it might feel sort of like basic elementary drumming, and a lot of times as drummers, we want to challenge, we want to play a tough groove, we want to play something that's going to maybe make us feel more confident or impressive as a drummer, but honestly, the most impressive thing that we can do as drummers is serve the song. And this groove has 3 bars, or 3 parts of the phrase that are a straight thing and then a stutter kick. So I'm gonna show you how that works and the subtlety that it implies in the drumming. That's all it is. That part repeats over and over. So the first part. And then the second part is on the kick. Now for some beginning drummers, it's kind of weird sometimes when the kick drum hits separate from the stroke of your ride cymbal. So the one thing I'll say is just practice that at home. You can do this a lot, you know, even with your foot to hand stuff. Just like that. While you're watching TV, while you're gaming on your system, whatever you got to do, practice drums at all times. Let them live with you. What we'll do is we'll accent that occasionally with a snare and cymbal here and a cymbal here. Now, a lot of folks talk about different cymbal setups. Some have many cymbals, some have one or two. I prefer to go with three. The reason why is I've got a ride cymbal here that kind of allows for less crashy sound and more of a pronounced attack. Then on this side I've got a crash, and on this side I've got a crash. It's advantageous to have more than one color of crash cymbals, and it's nice to have them wide out, especially if you're in a church that has two stereo overhead, like, you know, a stereo overhead mic setup. That's a lot different than like one microphone over the top, and you're gonna feel the difference in the width of the stereo field out front when a drummer goes instead of. It feels different. Now, if you only have two cymbals, you've got a ride and a crash, you can do the same thing using crashing your ride. It's awesome. Just the width of the stereo field and the different colors that we play with. You can use your hats sometimes like that as well. That's basically the in-depth tutorial for No Longer Slaves. You'll listen to the track. You can play along with me in the next video and kind of notice some of the nuances and the crescendos and how I'm hitting the crash cymbals and spreading that stereo field out like we just talked about. I'll see you there.